Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to do a DIY Dollar Tree Easy Farmhouse table runner using this wire edged burlap ribbon. I was inspired from Pinterest, and I wanted to show you too that you can get ribbon like this at Walmart as well as the Dollar General. You just need to have enough, and we did a little bit of math. Now this is an option, this lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree, if you want to finish it off to make it reversible. Okay, and you're also going to need a glue gun and a few glue sticks, as well as your scissor and a ruler, just to get that 1 foot measurement, and we'll go over that when we get there. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is take all of these off of their rolls. So just to show you the little wire there. The wire doesn't always go to the end, so what you do is you bend this until it stops bringing back, and you can feel it, and then you can feel the wire stick out. Wow. Where the end is. And once you have the end of the wire, you can take, I just use the edge of my scissor because I don't have any nails and don't have good grips, but you want to start pulling the wire out. You want to make sure the other end is not folded over, so the wire is free to slip out. Now, this is just an option, and I prefer this because it helps the runner be more fabric and less wiry. But I wanted to show you that if you have a helper, this makes it super fast. Just have your helper hold the middle of the ribbon while you pull on both wires with the ribbon straight across. It worked so quickly. No joke, I told Jim that I got about 6 inches done by myself in the amount of time it took us to do 6 rolls. So hopefully you guys have the option to do that. So I'm using both kinds of ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I'm using 3 rolls of the lace and 3 rolls of the plain. And my table runner is going to end up being about 12 inches by 52 inches, give or take. So, or 54 inches, excuse me. So what I want to show you, or what I want to tell you actually, is you want to take, if you're going to mix and match like I did, you want to make sure you cut 3 of the rolls in half, and then the other 3 rolls you want to cut in 1 foot measurements. However, it's the Dollar Tree, and not any one of these rolls was actually 9 feet, like they promised. So I cut these in half, the long ones without the lace, and the ones with lace I cut in, I took 1 foot off of it, and then I cut the remaining piece, which is supposed to be 8 foot, in half, and then fold it in half, and then cut it, and then folded each of those in half, and then cut them, and each of those in half, and cut them again. So I had one that was a foot, and then 8 pieces that were almost a foot. And you need 26 pieces total, so you're going to have just 1 piece left over. All right? And then I'm just going to weave it. So how I'm starting it here is I've taken the 6 straight pieces that are the long pieces, and I've kind of folded up the ends as you saw, and I held them with a clothespin. That just helps manage them. Even with the wire out of them, they kind of wanted to stick to themselves, like they kind of have like a rough seam on the edge, so they kind of kept grabbing onto the other burlap. And what I've done is I've started the first piece. I've started the 3 pieces that were going to go over the first piece. I started them a little longer, and then I wrapped the edge over. I wrapped the, like, I guess, 1/4 inch probably, or to a 1/2 inch over the back of the first piece, and I glued it. And then the pieces that were going to be under the first piece, I actually dragged those all the way to the end. The reason I did that is because I said these are, the calculations were that we needed these to be 52 inches, and they're not. They're just under. So as you can see, I'm working on the back side. I have the lace, because it's reversible anyway, so you want to be on both sides. But I've started on the back side, and for the first 3 of them are going to be longer, and the edges are folded over. And then the other 3, I've started at the end of the first row of ribbon there. So you see, like, the 1 piece went over, and then the next piece started at the end. And I do understand it's a little bit hard to see because it's kind of burlap on burlap. But basically, If it was, so this is the back side of the runner, and if the piece had started on the back side of the runner, I just glued it to the very edge of that underside of the first piece of ribbon. And I'll show you, we're going to cover it in the end to make it reversible. So it's not even something that's like so noticeable. Okay. But it's going to give us that extra inch and a half or so that we're missing. So we want to make sure that we have, I actually did like math calculations on this, you know, just for you guys. But we want to make sure that we have enough to go to the end. Now, if you want to skip all that and just make this like, 48 inches, you can. I mean, it just, I feel like when you get a runner, sometimes they're standard like 52 to 60 inches. I don't know. But that's just why I went with it. You can also make these longer. You can make them 9 feet long because that's how long the ribbon is. You're just going to need more of it. Twice as much, probably. And you also can do it with the colors. I was actually kind of like going to play around with some placemats that are in like that pretty aqua color that comes out with this kind of ribbon. I know that a lot of you guys are into the neutral farmhouse that kind of has sort of that aqua feel to that, I don't know, mason jar blue kind of thing. But I just decided to go with the neutral and the lace just to make a little bit of a difference. The inspiration piece from Pinterest was just natural and natural. So you can do that as well. All right. So I'm just going to continue to weave, and how the technique that I came up with is I weaved the entire piece whichever direction it goes, so like over under, and then if the side that I was ready to glue back onto the underside, so every piece has a oh my goodness, guys, I'm sorry. Every piece has a section that gets glued on the backside, and then gets woven through, and then the other end gets glued. Well, okay, let me start over. There you go. Folded that over. Every piece has a section that you fold over first, from the front side to the back side. Then I made sure I stretched out and evened out all of the woven areas. Made sure that the things were straight and everything. And then I glued the bottom piece to the back of the other end ribbon. Does that make more sense? As you're watching me, hopefully you're figuring out what I'm doing. And I did want to tell you though that if you end up using a 2.5-inch ribbon from like Walmart or something, then you're gonna need 7 of them. I believe that was the math. And you're gonna do almost the same thing where you're gonna make it. Oh, that can't be right though. That's gotta be less. I don't know. My math is weird. Like, I don't know why I did some weird math. I feel like it's got to be less, because if they're 9 feet, that's 4.5 feet. That's 54. Would we say 52 inches divided by 2.5? See, that would be less. That feels like that would only be like 20 pieces. So I don't know. You guys will figure it out. But actually, this ends up being pretty even math with these burlap rolls. All right. And one of them, as you notice, is just a little bit different in color. That one I actually bought at the Dollar General. It was no, that was from the 99-cent only store. I apologize. And it was 99 cents or $1, because the 99-cent store is really $1. But that's why it's just a little bit different color. But I thought that would be nice for interest. Jim suggested I put them on the edges, so that's why I left that there. And then I just continued weaving through. Now, I told you one of the options is to add the lace ribbon at the end. We're going to cover all of those little folded over edges and all of those glued down edges with the lace ribbon so that we can make it reversible. And that's just an option I really wanted to do, because I really wanted to have it. I wanted to have the choice of having it with lace or without. All right. And as you can see, the clothespins really did come in handy. I have a very limited workspace, as you guys know. So what I was doing was I was unrolling one side, and then as I was finishing it, I was rolling it onto itself. You can kind of see it there on the edge a little bit. And you want to make sure you use your glue mat underneath this. I use the clear cutting boards from the Dollar Tree. You get 2 for $1. And when I'm gluing, I put the shiny side up. When I'm cutting, I put the foggy side up. If that makes sense. I don't really know that makes a difference. It just helps me. It just that the clear side or the shiny side actually makes the glue come off a lot easier because it doesn't have texture, you know. And then I'm going to use another one of those at the very end to hold down the, basically like hot fingers. So before I glued the ends over, I wanted to make sure that I went over to the whole, like the whole length of the runner, and made sure I pulled the ones that aren't glued down, like the middle sections. I wanted to make sure I pulled them all to make sure that there was no bumps in there. And then I went ahead and I glued them down. And then I took an extra piece of this ribbon, just to measured it across the back to cover the very, very ends. Both ends right there. So I just took a piece, pulled the wire out, and finished the ends there. And this is where I'm going to utilize the lace ribbon. The lace ribbon we're just going to cut in half because we know we need approximately 4.5 yards. 4.5 feet, excuse me. And I'm just going to start it by tucking it under the little edge of the ribbon that we put down. And I'm just going to use like a little, I have like these little skewer sticks left over from one of the Dollar Tree projects or whatever. And I'm just gluing it down. And that's where I'm using that clear cutting mat, as I was saying, as like hot hands, because I don't want to touch the glue to come through the lace. All right. And what I decided to do was to do both halves at the same time. So I glued one side, put the ribbon down, just laid it as neat as possible. Every once in a while the ribbon had a kink in it, so I just trying to work out the kinks. And then I went down and did the bottom half and used the hot hands. And then rolled it over, moved it down, and repeated. And that's it. Like I said, this is an option. Another option could be if you have any kind of satin ribbon would be pretty. You know, the buffalo check's kind of in right now, so any kind of gingham or any kind of thing like that would be pretty. And I really wished I could have done this in a different burlap, but that's another story for another day. You know that raw edged burlap, thought it'd be nice to actually get like a plaid effect out of it if I used that, but I didn't have that available. So here it is. Here it is on its lace side, and I just really do love the way it came out. And here is it on its back side. Again, like I said, pretty reversible, pretty nice. So I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. If you do, give it a thumbs up. Just going to show you a couple of ways to dress it for the holidays. This is my buffalo check tablecloth I've had for about a million years. And some black napkins. And then, of course, this is my French country sort of like everyday look. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe. And when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And share this with friends and family. Anybody you know might be interested in making one of these. And as always, like I like to end every video, you take care. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Bye.